book club. It's time to start the show. There's Zelda, there's Maude, there's Gengar, there's Samantha. Now kill your mother. Let's start this great chat. Little bit of housekeeping today. Please put October 11 into your diaries. 5 p.m. It's no longer October 3rd. We've had to push back the Q&A with Matt Dinnerman. I will be in Joshua Tree for my first branded social deal of the year. Where's my golf clap? Guys, you have no idea. Maude can pay rent. Woo, it's been a slow year and a half for me. So we got a branded deal. We can thank Trisha for that one. Hell yeah, let's go. And there's a duck.
It's a trap.
No, it was a duck. So I'm not able to honor the interview with Matt, but he's very flexible and very fantastic. We have bumped it to the 11th of October, which is a bit tough because I want to keep reading this series. It's such a good book. We are going to be going full spoilers for The Butcher's Masquerade, but 11th of October at 5 p.m. PT, we'll be doing a 1-hour Q&A. Now, if you're a member, you get access to this question doc where you get to ask a question for Matt Dinnerman, and I will be the vessel for your question and get it asked, and I will quote you and probably turn it into content and put it on socials, as I have for who's had their question read and it's been made into a video. KP Dubs, I know you, absolutely. Tim has. My favorite still to date, even though I miss you, City, is when City absolutely roasted the ever-loving shit out of me with my taste of men. But hey, how did you get a thumbs up, Academic? How did you get a thumbs up? Are you doing it on your phone? Did you not see that a little bubble with a thumbs up just popped up next to your head? Yeah, I want one. Whatever you did you nod? Noddling. Oh, that'll get me. I really want, because sometimes if you're on FaceTime, if you do a thumbs up, a little thumbs up bubble will pop up. So I don't know if it's happened again. If you're wondering who I'm talking to, I have an entire Discord chat full of lovely faces and voices. No, it wasn't that one though, Tim. It was like literally a FaceTime one. I'm just going to bother me. We are all chatting. We can go mics off. I get to ask them. It's like our own little in-room book club that I bring online. It is a lot of fun. It is a paid perk. If you want to support Maude's book club, head over to patreon.com/Maude's book club. It's the second tier. If you sign up to be a member for $5, you unlock all the Discord. You get to have access to the Google documents and the notes that we do for all the book clubs and all the questions that we do for all of the books. You get to ask authors questions directly. You get to participate in numerous polls that we put on to dictate and determine what the book for the year, the month books are going to be. KP Dubs, what are you doing to me? What is that shit? Why would you? Too soon. Too soon. KP Dubs says it's the second tier. The first was when Miriam Dom dies. Spoiler. Yeah, we are going to get into that. It's the first tiers. We also have the merch tiers. Thank you, Toaster Poster. That are Vaden. How many? 10 gifted subs. KP Dubs gifted 5 earlier. And 1 to your cousin who's joining us for the very first time. We've got so much to go over. Hold on really quickly. Merch tier. As a community, we co-design with our graphics designer merch that cannot be bought. So it's exclusive merch that you get sent every 3 months. We've had t-shirts, hoodies, tote bags, mugs. It's really, really cool, and no one else can buy it. And so whatever ideas you've got brewing, if you want to pitch it, you can bring it to life, which is a lot of fun. And there's also the gaming tiers. Thank you, Catch. The gaming tiers, I think we're going to be playing this Friday. Gamers, you're up. Assemble on Friday afternoon. Tim's like, welcome to Maude's community.
Yeah, sure. We'll just play games while I'm at work. That's cool.
Well, you're always here while you're at work. Let's not make... No, you don't get to...
Just saying, why am I in the gaming tier if we're going to play when I'm at work?
Maybe Saturday?
I'm also
at work,
working.
believe it or not.
Both
Yeah,
days.
Saturday you're still working?
I'm
Am
going
I
to be
the
working all
problem?
weekend.
Or is your
Yeah, I
job the
thought you had like
problem?
100 hours of work or something to do in the next 2 weeks.
More
Wow.
or less.
We need to pour one out
Overtime
for everyone
check is
who works really hard.
I'm on mandatory overtime till the end of October.
Wow. Mm.
And all
Well,
I
if
have
you
to
want to
drink
bitch
right
and
now
moan
is
about how shit your
tequila.
job is, join the Members Plus tier. For $15, you get to join in for both of the book club streams and the bonus, where for 2 hours a pop, so up to 6 hours, you get to join in the discussions. I might call you out on discussions. I might roast you. You will roast me. Kate, you got anything for me? I'm sure she'll brew up something.
You haven't said anything stupid yet, so let me think.
I think that was a compliment. I asked for an insult and I got drenched in compliment. I'll take it. Okay, Catch-22 is gifting subs. Okay, right. We're going to do some shout outs with some subs flooding in. We got a hype train going. Why don't we have a train sound effect? If someone can find me a choo-choo, like a train sound effect, I'll pop it in our Discord so we can get that happen. We completed a level. That's good enough for me. We completed a level 5 hype train. Holy crap. Good Lord. And we got a raid? No. Do we? No.
I'm going
Lisa,
to kill your mother.
who's raiding? Classy Librarian. So lovely to have you. I love to see that you're streaming more as well. Classy Librarian has been here almost from day one as well. Also very, it's 1 a.m. Get to bed. That is late. But thank you so much for raiding. Just while the hype train is hyping real hard, I'm going to read out some of these beautiful gifted subs. Catch-22 gifted, what is that, 10? What is this, so you can stay at number 1 spot with 30 total? Fair enough. Catch-22 is in the number 1 spot for the raids. Gifted subs. Rapture got one. Yuck Bug. I'm drinking a carbonated drink. It's coming up. I just don't drink much carbonation and I just don't handle it very well. I'll let that. 129 burps. All right. Yuck Bug, great name. Growling Mouse Studio, JCLL, Casper NZ, Z, if you're in America and everywhere else, Z. Palav Ranumero, Frequency Punch, Anastasia Windsong, McMadman68. You all got gifted a sub. Thanks to Catch-22. Your name's popping up here as well. If you got gifted a sub, make sure you say thanks to Make sure you say thanks to Catch. Because we're nice around here. I don't know what bean time means, Gordon. What do you think that is? What we're nice around here, says Academic. If you've been gifted a sub, yes. I think that's the only one though. We are nice around here. We're just a little sassy as well. Best I got for a happy time emote. Well, no, that's not true because your cousin KP Dubs gifted you a sub earlier, so you've got have a little poke around to see what more's book club. We're sassy but cute. Yay! Where's Zelda's cam? Where's Zelda's
I
cam?
hesitate to call myself cute, but I'll agree with Sass.
You can call yourself whatever you want. Cute is an expression of achievement. What? I have Zelda's cam, but you can already see her, so it's like a camera over her and under her. No such thing as too much, Zel. Good angles. Claim cute when you get it, says Academic. J Buntrock gifted is that 5 subs as well? Funrad V, Slayer 12, Inscriptor, Kingman 1022, and Madman Rambling. If you got gifted a sub, actually there's 6, and to Kai Reddle. If you got gifted a sub thanks to J Buntrock, you say thank you, please. I'll say thank you too. Hey J Buntrock, thank you. Why 6? Caught me out. New achievement. Maybe you're the number 6 crawler.
I think Twitch added 1 extra gift sub for some reason.
Yeah, they added to mine as well. So
They're
they add 1
doing
for every 5.
September. For every 5, you get a bonus one on them. Yeah.
There you go. That did throw me. That's cool though. Vaden, you gifted 10. Does that mean 12 are going to show up? No, 9.
Yep, I got
10,
12.
11. Oh, cool. And they are for Nerd Pride Master, Max Powers 2005, David Xiao, Old Gamer Frank, Curious D 1987, Charles XZZ, Seal of Solomon, Shy Islands, K Frito, you got gifted sub 6 to Vaden. How cool is that? Deltron Zero, Occult Stool, Occult, you got one too, that's sick. Tazen 7, and KP Dubs, you gifted subs to Lolcat, Fluffy Suze, Tex Sniper, DOS Gamerman. I remember when DOS Gamerman followed and I kind of was like, sick. And now I do like DOS, not Goss. I posted Goss yesterday.
Hello there.
Hello. DOS games and Nintendo 64 screenshots on Threads to see if people can guess the game. Avery, 25 months with Prime. Thank you so much. Are you in the chat? Can I see you? Yes, you've just joined. Sorry, I'm late. I just finished the. Oh, can we go straight to Avery? Crossing live to Avery, who has just finished the book. How are you coping right now?
I'm fine. Doing great. Ready to buy the next one already.
Yep, good. That's how that goes. I'm loud finally. Cool. Yay. Yeah, Avery, I can hear the needing to process for 2 seconds. So we'll get into it. Now, last time I waited like 40 minutes before we got stuck into it. It's been 20 minutes and we are not going to dilly-dally any longer. We're going to get straight into this. Oh, KP Dubs Twitch gifted to Quappy on your behalf. Yeah, I see it. Twitch just pops in with one. That's cheeky. Don't take the credit for that, Twitch. Bartleby Prime says it feels like forever since I've been able to make book club. Sorry, I got off at the wrong stop on the Iron Tangle, and Kraken made me wait and submit for a new train pass. Oh, okay. That sounds like you are talking about previous books. If not, I'm Karen. There it is. Ellis says, I miss you on the break room. Yes, I used to do Acolyte reviews and Monday Minutes, Maude's Monday Minutes on Mondays, but that's not happening as much. I don't know why. Make sure you keep hitting him up and be like, we want more Maude. More Maude. More Maude. Junior Jack says, I've got a jet right now and I'm sleepy. But have a fun night. Take care. All right, so everyone who's in is in, everyone who's out is out. Love it. I don't know what else I've missed in the chat except for Godrin saying, quick, say something dumb. Just you wait. It'll happen.
Evening is young.
Yeah, let's go. All right, so I want to get straight into, if you remember, the doc is open. I'm on page, good Lord, 9 of 12. We've just got a lot happening. What's really cool is that you've got all of the, and thank you so much to Vaden and KP Dubs who've done a great job helping this out. A list of all the characters in here, a list of the universe outside of the crawl, including the Syndicate, the Apothecary, the Blood Sultanate, the Bloom. What are the Bloom? Oh, okay. Even I'm learning things. Skull Empire, the Prism Kingdom, the Borant Corporation, the Plenty, the Volte Corporation, who Odette is, who's Dr. Portus, who? Oh, yeah. Quasar, a lot of fun things. All right, but the first, and then the plot as well. But we're going to get into key parts of this plot. Glurp. Oh, did he read all the books?
Glurp, motherfucker.
Did he read the books? Did you get him into them? Godrin, have you read all of them? Hi, T-Bones. I've read them all. And we've got another one. Also, Godrin, I have this. It's blocked by the book, but I still have it. KP Dub sent it to me. It's my Miley Cyrus Wrecking Ball. Thank you so much. Another one. One of us. Another friend got me into them. Oh, I'm sorry. Not KP Dubs. You didn't do it. He was already reading them somewhere else. Damn, we are really taking over. I got a cat in January, says Gordran, and Signet and Zev were two of the top names I was picking from. What's your cat's name? Absolutely not. Academic. Absolutely not. What's your cat's name? KP Dubs, can you answer it? Oh, Sinner from the Hunger Games. Sinner. Sin of a bitch. I mean, that's a name. Yeah, okay. Alrighty. Miriam Dom. Whew. The first tier, as KP Dub said earlier. Miriam Dom she's always sort of been in a different area throughout the books. But any single time there was an interaction with Miriam Dom, she was always so friendly, so compassionate, so loving. She's a 40-something-year-old shepherd, and she brought in 18 of her goats, and she was given pet biscuits. One of the goats turned into Prepotente, which is like the equivalent of what happened to Donut. Got stats, became its own crawler, is more humanoid, has like human hands, right? Just the head of a goat. And then Bianca became like a super pet familiar, but is leveling up. Yeah, is leveling up so insanely. It's a hellspawn, like a demon goat. But now it's like the size of a dragon. It's this like flaming, flying dragon goat. Oh my gosh. Jay Buntrock. 18 goats. You have to be kidding me. Nice. Game Wizard said pony naming all the towns that they claim is named after him with just a number. Like, I love that. Sometimes there's no time to be creative. It's like, right, just churning through them all. That sounds like something I would do. I'll be real.
I never got the impression Prepotente likes to name things in a clever way. Like, that's probably not his thing. It's like, I'm just going to keep it simple and straightforward because I'm going to move on anyway.
That's it. Yeah, less attachment, just getting after it. I thought it'd be cute if Pony named the towns after other goats. I think Pony's trying not to be nostalgic. Because, 5 of the goats were killed because one of the goats, I think, turned into, like, a monster and, like, killed about 5 of the other goats before they had to put it down. So it's like a lucky dip when you get these pet biscuits in the beginning, and some of it worked out very well for her, some of it not as much. But I think she still has about 5 or 6 goats in her inventory where the biscuits didn't affect at all. Tosa Poster, you're so correct. Miriam has gentle energy. And I was saying to the chat before in our pre-hangout, after talking about this book for 2 hours with part 1, I remember firing up the book again, being like, and I've read the book before. If anything happens to Miriam Dom, we riot. Like, I was like, protect that woman at all costs. She just hit differently this time around. Occult Stool says, yeah, soft parenting. She's the only place you could get like a warm hug, I think, in the dungeon. She was just such a wonderful, sweet, beautiful character. And a discussion that I had in part 1 was, the longer you're in this dungeon, can compassion stay a part of you, or can compassion still even exist? And there was a beautiful part at the end of this book with Donut kind of talking about how compassion's leaving her very, very quickly. And we'll go into that. But it's like she's adjusting, she's surviving, and you have to do what you can to survive. Kate says she didn't let the dungeon crush her kindness. Oh, there's a lot of good puns happening in the chat as well. Miriam speaks softly so that she can be heard. She's a shepherd. Nice. It's probably possible, but you have to keep it low-key, else the AI or other forces will use it against you. Ugh. And Vaden says yes to Kate. And even when the crawl turned her into a vampire, she didn't change either. She refused to kill anyone for their blood. It would only be someone that Prepotente had killed. That's what's really heart-wrenching about a lot of things. And I was going to get into it a bit later, but the ways that the AI or the dungeon will use things against you. Miriam was a vegan for 20 years. Miriam grew up on a farm, raised goats, brought these goats into the crawl with her. The fact that it's like she's been putting these animals first to the point where she won't even consume an animal product. And then they made her a vampire where she has to consume blood to live. It's these things where it's like a haha gotcha. But another reminder for Carl especially just how fucked up this entire process is. How they are exploiting you, ridiculing you, turning things against you for the sake of entertainment. And her death, I mean, I kind of said it offline earlier where I was like, it's the saddest death that we've had thus far. But I said, but it would have made such great television. And I feel like they drew it out a lot as well. She couldn't move. She couldn't move for fear of breaking literally Prepotente into thousands of pieces. There was a culmination of things that happened very, very quickly. And one of them is making me wonder, is it a glitch or are they using this term glitch to get around rules? So what happened was Miriam and Prepotente were moving from town to town. A glitch happened where Prepotente's ring of divine suffering, yes, we discover he has one as well, locked on to her. And it's like, well, if he didn't choose her as a target, why couldn't they have undone that? And it's like, oh no, they did it on purpose. The whole thing was a setup. The way that this rolled out, though, Miriam's calling for help on the feed, basically trying to get in touch with Carl. She's contacting other crawlers to get in touch with Carl. Why do you think Miriam wanted Carl to deal with this more than anyone? Do you think it's more the fact, like, is it more than Carl being our protagonist?
I think it's because she knows Carl is beyond being a good person. It's just that he knows he will do what's necessary. Like, he's very pragmatic. He's very practical. And even though he's good, he will, she knows he will do anything that needs to be done. So he knows she would figure out what she wanted, and he filled his role.
And Darren says he has a similar relationship with Donut as she has with Pony. I think a lot of other crawlers would see the vulnerable state of the number one crawler with a bounty of 1 million. And they would jump on the chance to get that money and to get that status and to knock Pony out of the picture. Carl was never going to jump on that. He was never going to do the thing that benefited him. He was always going to honor Miriam. And I think enough had happened previously where Carl passes out a lot in this book. Dude passes out like 3 times. And passing out is a very vulnerable and dangerous thing to do in the crawl as well. I think that Miriam rescuing him earlier as well was a little bit like of a life debt. I saved you when you went rampaging through and you got an arrow stuck in your arm where you were bleeding out profusely. And so it was like, hey, I need you to do this last thing for me. Grodin says, I think it's because she recognizes that he'll do what needs to be done and stomach it until he can't anymore. It would damage him, but not break him the way it would others that she knows. I actually do think it's the fact that he wouldn't use the opportunity to kill Pony. Like, it's a really simple 2-for-1. And he can loot their bodies. Like, she's about to die. He just needs to be flinked and his whole body would, like, break apart, apparently. So it was a perfect opportunity for someone to wipe out those 2 players and get a lot of experience and a lot of loot. I wonder, though, if these edits that are constantly portraying Carl as a crazy, explosive, literally psycho, in that moment, if everyone gets to see a different side of him. So that actually could have worked for Carl's benefit, but we don't really see that so much because he's not checking into the social popularity polls or anything like that. Occult Stool says, Carl's still a bit of... No, not today, says my face. Carl is still a bit of an opportunist, using his ring of divine suffering on Miriam too. True. And he stole. He did loot her. He looted a couple of potions. Potions of level up or whatever that was. Power up? What was it called? Someone will tell me. Gave it ups. Aaron says in Carl's defense, he ends up doing a lot of stressful, dangerous things that force him to either be knocked out or pass out. True. Kind of. He didn't have to transport to the hunters at the beginning. He didn't have to crash into the club. Yes, Aaron?
He also was coveting the other ring that Prepotente had, basically the same divine suffering ring that he has. He was already thinking like, oh, if I got that, would I double up on all the stats? And again, he's like already looking at the possibilities. And then, of course, Prepotente
Dude,
eats
that
the damn.
ring is sick. I know it takes a toll, but he's leveled it up to the point where it's like he gets 4 times the stat each kill. 4 or is it up to 5 now? An additional
5 now,
4.
yeah.
It's 5. So every time he takes out someone, their highest.
And he
stat
also
point,
marks
gets a plus.
Miriam before she dies, which is like what he got called out for, and that's what gets put in the recap.
Yeah, but if you know she's gonna die, why not? I get why. I get why Carl did it. Every time, every single character you know is going to 100% die, you should use the ring to level up. It comes at a cost, though. We've seen the bad sides of it. Yeah, Kate says nobody in this dungeon can be 100% altruistic. It is not going to happen. And then Pony eats the Ring of Divine Suffering. Yeah, he noms that shit down. I guess it was something that he didn't want to use anymore. It had taken its toll. It cost him Miriam, and so he didn't want to be in a position like that ever again. Yeah. Sprinkles says, yes, keep using the ring.
This is like Maggie Mai all over again, right? Like, because at the beginning, like, her daughter had, used the ring, and now it's like happening all over again, right?
Yeah, but I think the first time was like a really happy accident as far as the AI is concerned, being like, haha, look at this great story. We're fueling despair. But this glitch, now they're just, if you've got the ring, they can fuck with you and just call it a glitch and, oh, well, what are we going to do about it? And KB Dubs brings up a great point. The tiara in, what is it, the book 3? You said that there was a glitch there as well?
Yeah, when they're running away in Carl's doomsday scenario from the town that's going to blow up, and things are happening like every 5 minutes, they're telling everybody take all their magical gear off, and so that's why he's running around naked with no boxers. But he tells Donut to take off the crown, but they're worried if they do that another crawler might get it, so she chances it and keeps it on, but it poofs it away anyway. So the game is who put that crown in someone else's hand.
Yeah, I'll still the Crown of the Sepsis Hall. We're not going to approve that, but yes, it's what it's called. Oh, okay, we allowed it. There you go. It does seem like the Ring of Divine Suffering is amplifying Carl's river in his head. Yes, ever since he made his first kill on that, I feel like it flicked a switch, and it's a snowball effect, big time. You just like, what if it could go wrong? It's so high risk, high reward. It's literally called the Ring of Divine Suffering. Like, I definitely hit deny. Oh, you did? Oh yeah, it didn't allow it. But it got through. Oh yeah, whoops. Oh, you? That's all right. As long, no one's allowed to call me that word because it'll show up.
If that makes sense, this was the item, but
it was the item. Yeah, I mean, again, why would you wear a crown called the Crown of the Sepsis Hall? Like, nothing appealing about that, really, is there? You're like,
because Donut didn't read the description and just saw a tiara, so of course she's going to wear it.
She's still not doing it. She's a Viper Queen in this next. She had 3 minutes to decide, and 4 seconds later, she's chosen one.
Like, oh, I'm going to pick the Bahamas. Oh, wait, that's the Caribbean. I guess I just don't know maps, even though I just said 5 seconds ago I can read maps because of, all this thing with Beatrice.
But hold on, K Frito, is it Donut just being Donut? Or we have seen time and time again that she is not dumb. She is incredibly smart, incredibly calculated. Are any of these things an accident anymore?
I don't think it's an accidental. I'm sure there was some kind of plan behind it, even if she's acting playing dumb.
I think Zev is feeding her info.
I do also partially think it's just one part she is also playing the odds and making smart choices and covering it up as like, oh, I'm just being haha silly dumb. I also think she's very impulsive and will go with what's aesthetically pleasing to her as well.
She is still a cat.
I think she's still a cat. She's going back and forth. She's using like that as a cover for all the other seemingly dumb choices that ended up being really smart.
I'm gonna get more into AI there was one comment that the AI made about cats, which I think could bite her in the rumpus. But my last questions for Miriam Dom, that little section, when she was like, you have to come, and she was withholding information, did anyone else think that this was going to be a setup? This was a setup for Miriam to take out.
It's a trap.
Exactly.
No, I don't think it was a trap. I didn't. Yeah, because Mary's been very consistently one of the best people in the dungeon. You know, I just didn't believe that she would do something like that. I mean, she could be tricked, I guess, but nah.
No, we trust her. Yeah. Okay. How do you think Prepotente is going to be without her? So far, he's been head in the game. He's had Bianca with him. He's kind of seemingly 10 steps ahead with the next levels. Like, this goat is severely codependent on Miriam. He just needs to be called a good, smart boy. But also very brilliant. What do you think is going to happen now that he doesn't have Miriam? Which I thought was his anchor. Anyone guesses on Prepotente? Pony Unchained? Yep.
I don't know. It's hard to say because we know he's getting fed information somewhere else. Like like Carl calls him out and says, "Hey, you had this plan. And you say you figured it out from Miriam's item or something. Well, I'm sure you got the information from somewhere else."
Well, he got it from the Plenty probably because I mean they're all goats, so
it's like a weird hive mind with them, huh?
Yeah, and I think we might see chaos from him that like puts Carl's chaos to shame.
Yeah, there's so many hints of like they're really fucking weird. Like he goes on this goat show and they just scream. They're in a circle screaming. And Mordecai's like, I'm really glad you're not that weird, donut. Like it's a whole level of more weird. And I think even when they were together, Carl's just like, man, those two are bonks.
Well, also just think of the fact it's like Carl and Miriam have to go into this dungeon and like the way it's changing them because they're dealing with all the stuff. But think about Donut and Pony. They were animals before, so now they also have to deal with human consciousness plus the dungeon stuff. So, like, you think it isn't going to melt his brain?
I'd be screaming too. I kind of get it. Black Laguna, thank you so much for... Oh, wait. Iguana. Iguana 3, thank you so much for following. We're doing Woods Book Club. If you're a Dungeon Crawler Carl fan, welcome. We're going full spoilers for Book 5, Butcher's Masquerade. Game Wizard says Carl and Pony are going to out chaos the other to burn the system to the ground. I think they ultimately do want the same thing. They will break them. There's a conspiracy that the apothecary with their hive mind and the Plenty with their tunneling technology are taking over the universe. Sometimes it's the threat that you cannot see. Ooh, there's a lot of shit that's going on outside of the game. That's the thing. Carl's biggest issue is what's right in front of him because every second he could die. But we're learning more and more about just big picture things that are going on as well. Bartleby Prime says Goat Hive Mind would be a great name for a band. You're welcome. Aaron says the game killed Pony's mum. He's going to murder everyone. I don't know if he wants to win the game that killed Miriam. I think that he's thinking short term, midterm, and like long term. Like he's big picture
winning's
and
not
small
the goal.
picture. Yeah, but I want to see Prepotente's stat points so bad. His intelligence has to be like so high.
I'm
Academic
getting
says Oh, you go.
I was just going to say real quick. I'm getting the feeling that Prepotente, for him, winning's not the goal of the crawl. It's getting as far as he can so he can bring it all down. Like surviving is just a bonus, basically.
Yeah. And I think now that we're seeing players that have survived the crawl and their legacy has gone on, or they've like, I don't know, had more of an important role within the outside of the crawl. I think that maybe that's what his goal is. Maybe. Academic says, I don't think he blames the game. He blames the players, the real players. Avery says, Pony wants to destroy the game. It just happens to include everyone in it. KB Dub says, if I can't exist in a world with my mother, then nobody can even remotely responsible for her death can exist in this world either. I'm going to kill all of them, or I'm going to perish trying. Prepotente. Was that a quote from the book, or is that you doing a little? That is.
That's a quote from the book, because he says, I don't think you're going to understand this. Then he says that. And then Carl, who also wants to break everything's like, why don't you think I would understand that? And they nod to each other.
Yeah, I think that they're starting to see an alliance, an allegiance with each other. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Because they hate each other. Oh my God. The insults that, because it's kind of out of character for Carl. Carl's a really decent, fundamentally a decent guy. He's one of the more altruistic, trying to do the right thing. Not necessarily lawful good. He's a bit of a chaotic good, but he's still kind of like fundamentally good. And just calling like Pony a, what does he say? Suck my ball bag or something? Just like, he's just like, Carl, come on, dude. You're better than that.
Yes.
You're right.
Last two lines in the book before the epilogue, Carl says, Pony, eat a bag of dicks, and then Pony goes,
Yeah, that's what it was. It's like all adjacent in that realm. Correct, Darren. He understands the death of their mothers. He actually brought that up, didn't he? Didn't he say, you can understand the loss of a mother too, can't you? Prepotente knows shit. Kate says, not only did they lose their mothers, but both mothers ended their own life to save their child. That is going to be the trauma bonding between the two for sure. Academic says, I love the Carl Pony relationship. Do not call me by my special name. Susie says, this book series is kind of like Hunger Games, right? If Hunger Games got uploaded into the best video game of all time, then yes. We have done kind of like Hunger Game adjacent books, huh?
Red Rising.
Hunger Games, Red Rising, Dungeon Crawler Carl. Yeah. Toast Post says, which then ties into reuniting Big Tina with her mum. Yeah, but like, who cares? Sorry. I think that whole Tina thing was just like pointless. There's a couple of things that were either pointless or built up too much with no payoff, which we'll get into. I want to kind of plant the seed for anyone to think about any snafus. Now, when I say a snafu, it means something that has either been mentioned and then unmentioned or contradicted, or a rule that's been put into place that was sort of forgotten about or broken, or an item that maybe was used incorrectly. There's a lot of moving parts in this. The only one that I thought was Carl using the ring on Vra but not killing her himself. I have been corrected on that one. Just whoever you mark has to die. It's not by your hand. I get that now. In part one, the only standout for me was when Mongo started getting frisky. She was like, I know how Mantis's mate, I don't want that to happen to my boy Mongo. And then like 10 chapters later, it's actually, they're talking to the male Mantis. And she's like, what happens during it? And it's like, babes, you just said. Can anyone think of any other Amber Alert? Oh, well, that's not it. I was going to say Amber Flag. Like it's not like a red alert. It's not like a game over. It's not like this is the worst thing ever. It's a lukewarm rule break. Anyone got anything? Okay, cool. Matt Dinnerman is a god. Great. Let's talk about this. Oh, you got one?
Oh no, I'm just gonna mention like, and part of it is because he keeps things very vague. Like a lot of the rules we don't know, like which makes sense. The players don't know the rules, so they just kind of given a very brief overview. So like, there's a lot of things we don't really learn about until later on. That makes him go in more depth, or things are just we give a surface level explanation. So Matt gets away with a lot of stuff because as an author, because he keeps things as vague as possible, and so that later on he can add to it or say, oh, this is actually how it works. Like right now we don't really understand the whole kid thing with Lucia. Like it doesn't make sense based on what we know. But
every now and then, like he'll talk about effects of an item, and then a book and a half later, like I forgot that he was immune to poison. What item does that? Was that his troll shirt from like book 1, granting him immunity to poison?
They just got exposed to like poison stuff or wherever so much that they just built immunity.
No. He specifically has an anti-poison resistance.
Mm-hmm.
They just built up their resistance to the point of immunity.
Nope.
No. I think it was a piece of equipment that actually gave him. I think it was book 1 or book 2.
I'm pretty sure it was book 1. It was his troll. I think it's the troll skin shirt. I think it made him poison. It made him poison resistant.
There's cloak.
This is or is it the cloak? Yeah, it's one of the things. But then again, you realize he eradicated all the lizards on the first level as well, which is just like 3 mobs or something. And now any single time and it's very, very generously stretched what an amphibian now is. But anything
the downside
lizard,
of the audiobook.
Like dinosaurs, apparently amphibians.
Toad, and it's a lizard, and he even calls it out. He's like, listen.
You don't get the stats or like the breakdown of his equipment list or anything like that.
Yeah, but on the audiobook you get the parody rendition of Wonderwall at the end.
That's true.
It was so good. Oh, it was so good.
So you gotta weigh it up. Lizard genocide was Iron Tangle, wasn't it? I don't know. Steph says, oh, hi, Steph. You said you were going to be in the chat for this one. Resistance was when he got exposed to the virus over and over again. Oh, the virus, but not poison. I will say that anything that doesn't make sense, the AI usually jumps in and just says, hey, don't ask. And you're like, okay, sure, that's all good. It was all the cleanup lizards in the abyss on the train level. Got it. Barnaby Prime has it right here. The wearer of this cloak gains +4 to Constitution and becomes resistant to poison and ice-based attacks. That's huge, right? In addition, the cloak adds anti-piercing resistance to all worn armor. It also makes you look like a dollar store Batman. Oh yes, Clever Girl, you're exactly right. Otherwise, it's just a glitch. Screw your rules. They supersede over everything. So these side quests that happen, this is not necessarily a linear telling story. They don't go from A to B and then this happens and then from B to C this happens. Sometimes there's a revisiting of a conversation with Quasar. Sometimes there's 15 days earlier. Sometimes it's a, passing through time. Keep It Up says, I really liked the flashback scenes. I liked what the information is brought to you when it's most relevant, because otherwise you have these things where it's like you're told at the beginning of the book and you're like, so? Donut would be Catwoman. Carl, she is not some useless bird. Nice. Me laughing through the end credit song while still crying at the epilogue was interesting, says Lisa. Yeah. Academic says, yeah, it was a really good change in pace. And what is that word?
Co-locate?
Co-locates information with its useful point. Oh, academic, living up to the name, teaching me a word. I have not seen that read out. I don't want to chance it. I was like, collate. Nope. That would be my dyslexia. Quests are on MMO rules. Sometimes they are something to do right away before the floor is done or whenever, like Carl's quest to find who killed the god, the god that he worships' son. Yes, and there's some that are implications of how the crawlers or hunters are playing the game. Some are completely flipped on their head, like Tina's now a vampire because it came in contact with Miriam and then started spreading like the plague, Some things are a bit of a stretch. I thought you just misspelled chocolate. I read Koloktos, which is a very bad misspelling of a Legend of Zelda boss. I'm glad I'm not the only one who was stumped by that word. We all learnt something today. We should all write it down and put it in our vernacular. But yeah, these side quests, did they do the story justice? Were you happy to go along for the ride, or do you think it became a little convoluted? Who wants to talk about the amass and progression of side quests in this book in particular?
I constantly found myself having to look up all the minor characters that suddenly became important. Like Brittany, I completely forgot Brittany was. So there's a lot of just checking back and Googling, what character is this?
I had the same thing where Signet was bringing out some of her tattooed people. There was like an ogre and they gave him a name. And I'm like, who are you? There's a lot of introduction to characters. Yes, J. Right. Agree. I feel two of you are now playing with your hair. What is going on, Jimmy and Darren? You're doing it it's like in tandem. And you're next to each other in my video call as well. So I looked up and it was the same hand and everything. Academic, I saw that. Getting in on this too. Darren's hiding behind his hands now. It's so funny. People are picking up everyone's little nuances. I like it. Aaron, you said it's convoluted. Talk me through that.
Well, the two parts. One, the big Tina quest. It's like it just all it does is introduce. Hey, look, we have other dinosaurs for Ongo to interact with, and one of them happens to be the mom of the big giant dinosaur that they end up banging.
Yeah.
So that was humorous, but then it just kept going on and on and on and on. The big convoluted thing though was the whole thing with Signet, the thing with the daughters and all that stuff, and then it ends up being the Butcher's Masquerade was the culmination of the whole thing. Yes. You didn't realize until after the fact. It's like
slightly anticlimactic, yeah. And then having Big Tina's quest be fulfilled at the end there, but then also having this like this creepers sort of thing. Oh, cool. There's a lot of dead carcasses and like vampirism that's happening. So now you have to take out these like 50 of these creepy, creepers things. And if you don't do it by a certain time, then it's going to be really bad. And then it's like the brambles then take into effect and start kind of pushing them into a corner of the map. You just kind of like, what's happening? I kind of just check out sometimes. I'm like, you just tell me.
Then you find out, the giant reason for like how you can finish the quest told by one NPC character turns out to be wrong. It's not you have to have her do her dance recital. It has to do with something with bringing her mom back to normal. It's like, what?
Yes, and thank you, Avery. The hunters felt very anticlimactic as well. It's like they played a huge part in the first half of the book, but then it only really came down to Vra, and she was infected with a super, what is it called? Enthusiastic gonorrhea. But then, bloody Carl's pulled out to do this convention halfway through. It's like kind of just jostling all over the place sometimes. I just feel like if there were a little bit of condensing, so it's like if they streamlined it a little bit more and then focused of the culmination of the story, where it's like, why was Ferdinand so important? Well, he was so important because his stats were at a particular level that Donut could in fact get him under a charisma spell. So it's like, I wish that they'd just kind of formed and fit more in place. It kind of felt a little rushed at the end, I think, with too many moving parts and needing to make all of these threads sort of end, not even neatly, just end and tie it up. And I just felt like if Matt just took a beat and maybe didn't do Big Tina, and instead that was like maybe 3 key hunters who Carl had pissed off over the time, that were kind of like maybe fighting between themselves as well as because they all wanted to get Carl first. That could be interesting. And then include like the Signet thing, but have more of a storyline about trying to pull her out of NPC. He's trying to save NPCs on the side. This spell's happening. What's this spell do? Why is he doing that? I'm learning about Prudence and her 2 cubs. It's like, what is what are we trying to focus on here? I just think that it's like, put out 5 of your 15 fires and just have it make a little, have a little bit more weight behind it. Academic says, counterpoint. Go ahead, you do it.
I wasn't going to say that. So counterpoint, the crunchy parts of Lit Arbitry isn't the good part, but the plot matters more. With the crunchy part being like the numbers and everything. I don't think that the way that you're constructing how the story could have gone is necessarily bad, but I do think there is a lot of thematic weight that Matt Dinniman is putting here with having all of these side quests and all of these stories, and that it feels like we're being pulled back and forth. At the same time, Carl also feels like he's being pulled back and forth when he wants to focus on doing the thing. And the thing is, not being broken, but breaking, the universe, right? And everything is pulling his attention. It's racking focus away from what he actually cares about.
Yes. And I like what Aaron says. Katia even calls him out to stop micromanaging. Yeah, I get that. But it's like, it would be cool if more people were able to step up into their role without him having to kind of dominate every part of it. Toast Post was saying, yeah, there were a lot of side quests and minor characters having their own arcs. I think this was done so that Carl and Donut don't have to have character development. Character stories would change the wacky tone of the books. I agree with some parts of it. I also disagree that I think some of the best moments in the Dungeon Crawler Carl books are when there's those moments of heart and character and those developments of the characters that we are with the most. I think they're just getting a bit lost. The plot, the drive, the purpose. I think when you have side quests and a lot happening, you still need to have a strong sense of direction. And I do agree with you, Academic, getting pulled in different directions does create that frenetic sort of energy. That's what it's like being in here. But maybe it's like you have to decide A or B. You can only do one, and not doing another will have a consequence, But I think like you can only walk down one path. I think Carl's biggest, they always say this about everyone, your biggest asset, your best asset is also your biggest weakness. And for Carl, he wants to save everyone. He wants to save everyone because he couldn't save his mum, kind of deal, and couldn't really escape his dad. But it's like, what is it about this message that needs to be driven in so much? Like, I don't think we needed to spend that amount of energy and doing another side mission into a place that they're not even allowed to be in, so that they can try and get these changelings moved into the next level. I just think if the book was very, very big for a reason. If I were to edit a little bit, I would try to combine some of those other quests. So instead of competing with each other, it could merge a little bit. And I think every other book has done such a great job of, when it comes to a head, it makes so much sense. I just feel the impact, and we'll talk about it, the finale lost a little bit of its purpose or resolve, or those really hard-hitting moments. I mean, the epilogue, that's a whole other story. That was just a goddamn shanking. Like, it was repeated and it was quick and it hurt. But it's like, if we're going to bring in these side characters, every other book's done such a great job of the clarity behind it. I think the clarity was a little bit more murky this time. A lot of moving pieces. Even the showdown with 4 separate groups of people coming together. So I guess with all of that, which of the side quests was your favorite? Which one would you keep if you got to keep one of the side quests? Which one do you think is the most important?
I mean, Miriam Dom for sure.
I guess it was the quest that she was like, I need help, and he was pulled in that direction. Yeah.
I think that's the one I drop, actually.
Wow.
I think that's the only one. I think everything else seems necessary. Like, I feel like even the Dino side quest, I think there's like a lot of untold, that's not a finished side quest. Like, Tina and Kiwi make their way down to the 9th floor in the Zura spell with everyone else, is what we find out at the end of this book, right? So like, what are they doing now, and how does that affect them if Carl and Donut ever make it to the 9th floor, right? So like, there's a lot of unanswered and open-ended side quests that may not actually end up being side quests, just like the Signet side quest actually ended up coinciding with the actual main storyline, which, like, how are they going to resolve that as well? Like, does that screw Carl and Donut over? Because now that they've made the main show coincide with the side story, like how does that affect them, right? So
a lot of people saying they should keep all of them.
Yeah, I mean, just to follow up on that, at the end, like Signet basically gives up her life as she starts to awaken and comes out of like the worn path thing, and Carl's ready to kill himself to save all the other crawlers at the party, and Signet's like, no, I got this. You just go and make sure my story is told out there. And if we hadn't had the Signet side story, then that would have not been there.
But didn't they negotiate with Quasar to have a second season going into level 7? Expand? I thought there was a negotiation made with the lawyer.
They were talking, and the show never really gave them a callback to make that happen. So the show was ready to do a dramatic ending, a tragic ending for the vengeance of the daughter.
But it sounded like they didn't run Signet. She chose that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, she chose her own ending.
Yeah.
I think the showrunners had a different sort of tragic ending planned for her, where like everybody at the party is gonna go, as opposed like the Signet goes out in her own blaze of glory, and not in the throat cutting way, but in the way where she's like actually attacking Queen Imogen, and a bunch of other crawlers get injured as a result of it.
Right.
Including Carl and Donut. Yeah.
Hey, Frito says, I wasn't. Oh, yep.
I was going to say, I was wondering if maybe because all the court lawsuits and stuff like that were frozen, that a deal couldn't be figured out because of that whole deal.
That's it. The whole transference. All right. The evolution or the devolution of the AI. What do we know thus far? The AI is showing favoritism. AI really likes Carl. AI is quite a big Carl fan. Now, it's a known thing that the AI usually goes more rogue around level 11. So the fact that it's going off its rocker in level 6 is why Aussie. Oh my God, Kefi, you're not allowed in Australia anymore after that one. On behalf of the entire country, I revoke the invitation. He says Aussie, AI. Butterfree Prime wants to remind everyone that the AI likes parts of Carl, namely his footsies. And Donut is suggesting that he play up to that to appease the AI, which makes Carl, feel cheap and icky, which I totally understand. Kate says, well, we know from our own experience that AI interacting with humans makes AI dumber. Facts. That is factually proven. So maybe not only is the AI being used an issue, but maybe it's also us humans that are the problem. The sapience in the DCC universe, says Academic. Humans think cat and dog toes are adorable. Why can't AI not think Carl's toe beans are the cutest? Fair. Who am I to argue that? It would not surprise me if the AI is integrated into the Earth internet. It absolutely is. We've seen numerous. The whole premise of a crawl is that the AI studies and basically the dungeon studies and looks over and absorbs all of what the planet is about. And that's why it has things like the Krakaran, because it's using pop culture, it's using every part of Earth to build out what the crawl is all about in an AI function. I can't unthink Carl toe beans now.
To clarify, I don't think he it studied it. I think it is the internet. Like it became it actually integrated with it rather than just feeding off of it for information.
Okay.
It is that, and probably got infected, and why it's wearing down faster because human internet.
Because it's shit. It must have been Spectrum. I'd like to personally blame Spectrum for this disintegration of the AI at a rapid speed. Fuck Spectrum. Alrighty. Toaster Poster says Carl just let a dino lick the blood off his tootsies for the AI. Mongo is appalled. Yes. Battery Prime says the AI absorbed the internet. We're just
Mongo
fortunate.
and Kiwi are appalled.
It's hold on, I've lost the quote. We're fortunate that it's just that its fetish is only feet. That's true. That's true. Now Bean Time makes sense. Got it. Yeah, okay. Keep It Up says, just a reminder, AIs are a protected life form in the Syndicate and will get a universe to live in after the crawl. Now, this AI we've discovered is used. So it's previously done a crawl. It's run a...
No, it was like an amusement park or something like that. Something... Yeah, and it was
Ra's mom's amusement park,
yeah,
right?
Right. It was the bugs, the hive people, and they sold it to Boren cheap so they could start the crawl.
Do you think that
Because normally they'd have to retire it, right?
Yeah, to this little planet where they get to live after. If you're selling AI, do you think that that's a way to corrupt it? Who sold it? Who sold the AI to the Boren Corporation for cheap?
The hive, one of the hives. I can't remember which one, if it was the Dark Hive or Ra's mom's hive, but I'm pretty sure it was Ra's mom's.
The Mantis, we'll just say.
Couldn't you somehow infiltrate the AI or corrupt it without it knowing?
It's its own thinking entity. I don't think it's like one of those sorts of things where you can interrupt, you can like meaningfully influence it any other way than like you can influence another sapient person.
Got it. Bartleby Primes just included a quote. What was it? Time to pay the daddy tax, when he had to stomp on a bunch of things. I believe that was even in the first book where he had to kill all the bugs, right? That's when we found out the AI liked it. What does the deterioration of the AI this early mean for the rest of the crawl? I didn't say it creepily enough. Yes, you used your foot to crush bugs. Is that better? I will say one of the joys of being able to listen to this book is that it does such a great job. He does such a great job. Kevin Dub's ew. Oh yeah, you didn't get to hear that because you haven't been listening. That's yeah, where it's like the AI spoke in a very creepy voice, like it was breathing heavily. Yeah, you get the impression of it. Ugh. The AI is getting mad at outside interference. The AI, yes, thank you, Darren. The AI is just like, no, you hired me to do the job. It's my job to do. You don't get to tell me how to play this. And we're learning more and more that those that want to tell the AI that it's wrong or to do things differently doesn't like it. Terry said it sounded very close to Beavis and Butthead. Yeah. So what do we think is going to happen in the coming books with the deterioration of the AI? I think the favoritism is going to help. I will say the Ferdinand bio, when he checked on Ferdinand, the last line about Ferdinand about you cannot trust any cats seemed very pertinent and seems like a foreshadowing for the AI not liking Donut at all. That's okay. Katia might take care of it in 2 levels. Never mind. Batista's a cat too. Yeah, that's right. Donut being like, I didn't take you for someone liking fairies. To Katia. He's literally Tony the Frosty's tiger, isn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. Except he's got a bunch of beanie babies he throws at people.
Yeah. Vane says, I love people figuring out loopholes in general. It's one of my favorite parts. I do love Carl figuring out little workaround tricks like the pen at CrawlerCon. What did he do with the pen?
He stabbed the guy that snake guy, journalist.
Yeah, that's right.
He was calling out Carl saying you're cheating, and he's just up and just grabs the pseudo pen that is like not really there, but it's like, I don't know. I forget what they like describe. It's like basically he can actually pick up, interact with the real pen, so he can sign stuff even though he's not physically there, and he just stabs the snake guy. And he's then being told, "Oh, you could get charged, and after the call is done if you live." Zev goes into this whole spiel about basically getting an indentured servitude kind of thing.
Yeah, they go into a whole exposition about crime and what happens outside, and that's where we find out Odette was a criminal who had her warrant bought out.
Mordecai
married her, and it's like, wait, what?
That Mordecai was a witness against her
for something.
Yeah, for something that she did during the crawl that when she was the manager.
What? There's just a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah,
that's happening. Jay Buntrock says, was Carl lying when he said he saw Katia as a sister? I'm going to go down in the document. I've highlighted it. It's quite a bit further down, labeled Carl's love life, because I had this thought as well. Katia, it seems that Katia, and someone wrote this somewhere, Katia was supposed to be the love interest, but was written out because she wasn't like exciting enough. But then Katia also decided to get her own group because she's on her own mission and she feels like she can't keep being in Carl and Donut's shadow. Also, they're becoming more and more reckless, and Katia's kind of got a solid head on her shoulders now. Avery says, look, I don't think so. I don't get any romantic vibes from them. Game Wizard says, I too think he's telling the truth. Academic, no, he's telling the truth. There was also a throwaway comment from Donut saying B has basically fucked him up so much that there's no way he has capacity to like anyone. So like, that ain't happening. Carl's future with Katia is nothing but grim, says Bartleby Prime. KP Dubs, you got to do the honors of giving him a boom tish because that was a good pun. There it is. And a round of applause. Well done, Bartleby Prime. You got applause from everyone in here. And a duck. It's just like the new Prepotente scream is we just get a little whack every now and then. It was a grim shot. Thank you, says Bartleby Prime. Ken has a celly now in the penitentiary. Nick says, I don't think Carl has the mental capacity for romance in the dungeon. He is doing way too much. Agree, Nick. I agree. It's going to be Carl and Samantha, says Darren. Oh, he says that laughing. Go on. No, you started it.
Hey, she's going to get a body real soon.
She's going to get a body.
Let's not forget Carl just was cheated on and got out of a relationship like, what, 6-8 weeks ago? I mean,
damn,
probably not ready. He's not ready for anything.
God, we feel like we've been with them for years. Kate wants to remind everyone Samantha is a sex doll.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, but like on behalf of everyone with a personality, that's important too. And hers is pretty rubbish. It is maniacal. She is not reliable.
I'm going to kill your mother.
Thank you.
She says that like she says, like other people say hello. It's like, hello, I
Yeah,
I know, it's like
exactly.
Australians using the C word. It's okay, I'm making my point. I see. Signet had an intimate moment with Carl. He said he didn't feel like that it was like a sexy time thing, but he definitely almost relished in a moment of intimacy where he's not only being felt, seen but heard, but just like touched. Wasn't it like, didn't she just lean on him and she put her hand on his and he was like, whoa, I forgot what this was. And it's like, I'm not trying to jump her bones, but this right now, it just I needed this. It feels nice. That's the thing. Donut barely shows any sort of like physical contact. Like she's nestled into him or purred once. And he's like, oh my God. She's like curled up in my lap. That's like, that doesn't happen. She doesn't do this. Carl is touch starved. Yes. And his feet are being fetishized all the time. So it's like, yes, Vaden.
Oh, yeah. Carl also mentions that he likes, but also is a little confused by Miriam when she was like patting his head. Like he gets like kind of like motherly like affection that he didn't get when in his life, I think, and also just because now he's in dungeon, his life's horrible. But Yeah, that is
That
he was like
stroking
that
of
a
a
lot.
hair moment where it was like, oh my gosh, yeah, it's like my mother's here looking after me.
Yeah,
What a
but
powerful thing that is. Yeah,
it is,
I
and
will
it's
say
not
one of my
like
favorite things in the world is my mum's hug. It's a superpower that mums have. You like have a little hug and you're like, oh, everything's better again.
Yeah.
Aww. Carl needs a real nap, says Aaron. That is constantly looming over him. Yes. Kate wants to remind everyone that when you're in a life or death situation, personality doesn't mean much if you need to get off. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Kate. Well, it would be one way to shut her up. All right. Donut is obviously saying the B stuff has messed him up too much. Do you think Carl will start crushing? Will he have an openness or ability to do so in the coming books?
I don't think so. At least I mean, he's so focused on his tasks. Like I don't think he cares about anything else really. Plus, he knows it's gonna be used against him as everyone else has been used. So I think he's just gonna avoid that. I don't know if he cares him because he seems like I don't think he just gets. I don't think he's just interested in that in general. Even when he lost, or when Beatrice cheated on him, he took it very much like in a business fashion. Like, she cheated on me, so I got to break up with her. But he wasn't that emotional. It felt like. So I think he's more like the romantic or semi-sexual because I think he needs a strong emotional bond to care about someone that way, and he doesn't. And needs to take time.
Yeah.
And really, that's a bad question because we know Carl's going to be crushing something. It's just a matter of what he's going to be crushing.
Not who. Haha. Lisa says he just wants to keep him and Donut alive. Lisa, are you okay with the lack of romance?
Yeah, I don't have to have romance in every book.
But how long do you think he and Signet held hands for, if you had to guess?
Honestly, it just flew by me. I didn't even care about that.
We got a Carl AI shipper over here. Oh, don't. No. This is dangerous. Back away from that. Bartleby makes a really great point. Meeting every prospective partner pantsless probably puts a pause on romance. Avery saying introducing romance as a major plot point in this book would make me mad. Yeah, I do. Okay, what about Katia though? So I don't think Katia was ever trying to crush on Carl. I think she respected Carl, and sometimes men can get that confused with having feelings. But she was like wanting to learn from him, respected him, saw his ethic, saw his morals, and was like, this is a really good guy to learn from. Her and Bautista starting a little something. I feel like that makes a little bit more sense. I think that given her past, trusting the wrong people, having Eva betray her, I think there's a little codependency that we're dealing with from Katia there. I think she learned a little bit. Academics like, I think that Heckler wanting to get rid of her was a very strategic thing for Heckler, going, I can't keep, like, she's too needy. She needs her hand held. I can't do that. And I think Carl taught her that, no, you don't need your hand held. You're your own person. You can figure this out. And, like, was there to support her, but not to sort of, hold her or even nurture her, really. And so I think that Katia definitely has her level of independence. I do think that she was more likely to, I guess, find a relationship. I wonder if Ellie McGibb would or could be that for Carl. There's been weirder shit in this book, so yeah, let's pop it on the table. Academic Ellie Carl shipper. Won't we get our fill of romance with next month's book? Bonus book? Yes. So we're going to be doing the second ACOTAR book. We're going to be, what is it? A Court of Mist and Fury? And we sure are. That first third of the book. It still doesn't make sense why let's just say she doesn't kiss first. What? Anyway, we'll explore that next month, you little pervs. Vaden says, at 5 books in, I just don't see Carl getting into a romantic or sexual relationship with anyone. I think that they were trying to do that with Signet. She literally is topless. And they were like, oh, he man, she woman. This is what they like. And it actually was the least interesting thing about her. But it does see that the AI is like, make that work. And Carl's like, I'm good. Her eye color is green. Aaron.
The NPC and I think even Imogen are like both insinuate it's like, oh, you brought your to like saying it's like you brought your lover here or something like that. It's like, and Carl's like taking offense to that. It's like, wait, what?
And the fact that Carl kind of figures it out even before Donut does. Donut, who I thought was incredibly observant, not at all. And that moment, I think it's like a really sweet moment where Carl goes, Bautista, you and Katia, huh? And Donut's like, what? And Bautista's like, yeah, is that okay? Didn't you have a crush on her? And he's like, what? No, she's like my sister. And this sense of relief that Bautista has, knowing that it's like not stealing a girl, not going to cause problems. He wants to be on the same team. Having someone like Carl not like you or get jealous or angry, not a good place to be. So I thought that was like a really sweet moment that didn't take much time, but like still had a lot of development. And now I don't know about you, but I'm rooting for Dave a lot more, especially knowing just how much of a support he's going to be for Katia. Whoa, we're going to get into that one. All right, let's talk about this show.
You mean Daniel. You said Dave Bautista. It's Daniel.
It's Daniel. Dave, I mean, now I'm picturing Dave as Tony the Frosty's tiger. Petition to change his name. Daniel Bautista. That's funny. Okay, we've got other crawler developments in here. That's going to integrate into the finale. So much happens in the finale, including seeing more about Lucia Ma, learning about Gustavo, the other dog being the problem. What does it mean? Learning about Florian. He was going to take out Lucia Ma, but now he's trying to protect her. Imogen is the twin of his girlfriend who Lucia Ma kills. Oh, it's all coming together. Let's talk about this finale. It is the Butcher's Masquerade. Everything comes to a head at this particular masquerade at the castle where Imogen is the queen and is rallied by all of her elves and Ferdinand, who was placed in there. Now, it's obvious that Imogen was supposed to be B. This was supposed to be B and Ferdinand, or Gravy Boat. So it was supposed to be the two really big people in Carl and Donut's life. That was supposed to be the finale province country boss in this case. But because Odette rescued B, it is now Florian's girlfriend's twin that he was able to detach from. It's because he's Australian. Just needs a cup of cement so he can harden the fuck up. Okay, so was the finale too much? Because a whole lot happens. There is the infiltration. There is the trying to set up a pre-plan to smuggle or to get things into the castle. There is this heist maneuver where Faraz and Louis have like mapped out sort of these tunnel systems that are in place. Samantha is supposed to shut off the crystals that are powering this anti-spell thing that's in place. Donut's getting Tina prepared for the talent show so that they can finish that quest, which isn't that quest at all because Signet's shown up. She's got her own invitation, which is never supposed to happen. What was with Brittany's jacket? I still don't fucking know. Yes, Aaron.
Jacket was the thing with the butterflies. I was supposed to like sap energy, and that's like she used like trying to redirect the lightning, which then burned her face. But
yep.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Also, the AI invited Signet.
Yes.
As that god or whatever. I forget the name.
Yes. That's the thing. So the AI is like, I wanna mess with all this. A pedo.
Definitely a pedo, not a pedo.
Well, it's played by the AI, so we don't know. A pedo. That still doesn't sound good, does it? Ferdinand being in there, the whole side mission to get him under a charisma spell thanks to Donut. that was happening. Samantha, can she be trusted? She was dropping the ball in there. The standoff where no one could strike first. Did you feel the tension of this? Signet and there's just a lot happened. But my thing is, was it too much? Was it too much? What were the standout parts? What worked? What didn't?
Samantha can apparently fly as a head.
Yeah, she floats. First she learned to walk without feet, and then she ran with no feet, and now she can freaking fly. She's leveling up this one. But she can't be killed. But she can't be tamed. Oh yeah, KPW says, I loved when Carl said that he believed in Samantha. She said, you do? And it boosted her big time.
Now I'm wondering if that had a physical effect, like she's a demigod. Does worshiping her give her power?
Oh,
I didn't even think of that until this moment.
Darren says she just wants someone to believe in her. Is that what levels her up? Is she getting worshipped? Because the way she talks, no one's worshipping her. The way she acts, no one wants to support her. She's chaotic AF. Toaster Poster said, look, there was a bit too much switching from plan A to plan C and then back again. I understand needing to adapt because things don't necessarily go as planned. Aaron says all the extra moving parts leading up to this party where so much felt like it meant nothing made it feel like much of the book was padded. I kind of agree. The second read, I kind of agree. Aaron.
What I mean by extra parts too is like all the different sponsors like giving other crawlers different items to then give to Donut to be able to do what she's doing for Ferdinand and Tina. And it feels like nothing really came of it other than, oh, we got a super powerful boss in the form of Ferdinand not attacking us when Imogen goes, crazy at the end.
Why all the emphasis?
Get one thing out of the side just so that they don't kill this character. It's like you could have done something or anything else other than that.
I do feel like the hype wasn't really, I didn't feel the payoff as much.
I did like the idea of like all these different entities outside the crawl though coming together to like try to help influence things was a neat point, but what they were doing and what the payoff was fizzled out.
Wasn't the payoff in the epilogue for like the majority of that stuff?
Yeah, but then why call it Butcher's Masquerade if you're just gonna okay, but the epilogue, like you could still have big bangs happening there. I just think if it was a little bit more streamlined, like take out one or two of the things that didn't really have a payoff and put more emphasis into it actually paying off.
Well, so the rationale there, and they explain this even before they get to the party, is that Carl realized that the reason why they did this is because the sponsors thought that Donut was going to be the only one that was going to survive the Butcher's Masquerade.
That's right. No one was supposed to survive this. She had a cockroach effect, so she technically couldn't die. So they all gave the supplies to her to see it through because she was the one who was supposed to live. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. But it's still anticlimactic. Cool. Toast Post says Samantha is a minor goddess of unrequited love. So yeah, that's a really good point. Just saying that, supporting and believing. Darren, I loved how hectic it was. KP Dubs, I loved the chaos. J-Bunt, I had a ball during the end part. Get out. Miss Necromancer, I also loved the chaos. Darren reminds everyone that it helped, all those items helped them beat the god. Colleen said they also had to work together at the end. Jess said, have you watched Delicious Dungeon? It's like Breath of the Wild, like cooking. Yeah, I watched it last night. J Bunt Rock says, what's the cooldown on the cockroach effect? A minute? Not a vastly long time. She sort of like crumples, and then usually like Carl's there to heal her. Once every syndicate day, so like 30 hours.
She only gets like one hit point back.
Yeah.
Once it takes effect. Keeps you from fully dead.
What were the parts of the finale that really stood out to everyone? What were your oh yeah or your oh no moments? I mean, Samantha at every single point not learning the map, not having the potion that she needed, even though it was all irrelevant, just like Come on, learn the lesson. She's unreliable. Stop making her a crucial part. I guess she can't die, but she also cannot help. Like, stop it. Susie. Oh. Donut singing Wonderwall. Thank you. Yep. What was everyone's highlights of that moment? Because a lot happens. Who they got to play Imogen, that reveal, that one hurt. Carl going from absolute despair and about to unleash his doomsday bomb to suddenly having hope when Signet joined. Wondercrawl. Nice one, Colleen. You can stay. Donut playing Anaconda for the pet show was awesome. Mongo moonwalked. What the fuck? The 4-part showdown. Crawlers versus hunters versus the Dewati versus all the mantises and even the naiads that were in there as well, was it? Versus Imogen and all the elves. There were things happening outside the castle where Carl was trying to get the NPCs in the one place into the castle so that when he uses that giant spell, he can transport all the NPCs to level 9. So that was going on with Bomo, who had the spell, right? And Bomo, there was like some sort of twister happening. I just checked out. What was the twister? That was just like one too many things for my brain to get.
Flying house.
Yeah, they needed to take out the turret, and so they crashed the turret into with the twister. Yeah, I
forget what the guy's name was. The one who was like very sad that it basically blew up. He was like from the previous book, and it's like
Louis.
Yeah, he was like that was basically his vehicle to get around.
Right. Yeah. Got it. Gordron says, "Oh my god, I had a pet randomly moonwalk in a D&D campaign. Mongo moonwalking was a personal victory for me." KP Dubs, he goddamn moonwalked backward across the platform. Yeah. Susie says, this kind of sounds like the Battle of Five Armies-ish. Yeah. Yeah. Sledge crashing the twister like in GTA. That's right, Sledge, not Bomo. Aaron says, I hope these books get animated so we can watch a dinosaur moonwalk. Vane says, I can't remember if it was in the epilogue, but Carl's speech to try and convince other factions to vote for turning off the protections. I mean, never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. I think Donut makes such a compelling argument. It's like playing a game with someone and then convincing everyone to play Russian roulette. You don't do it. If you've got half a brain, if you got half a brain, it's probably because you shot it off playing Russian roulette. But if you actually use that half a brain, you would never play Russian roulette to begin with. You just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, but at least in this case, like Carl mentioned, even though the people who are in there would want to vote for that, they mentioned that like the people running the governments, like not the government itself, the actual people who are in the government are taking care of, can have their own votes and use their votes to try to convince them, basically make it seem like a spectacle. Like, hey guys, this is gonna be a lot of fun to watch, and also you hate your government, so why don't you vote for this and screw over your own government because you hate them? It's like, okay, you just trying to appeal to that way. He's using the kind of like that populist thing, so it kind of works, I think.
He's asking people to choose chaos.
Yes.
Didn't he say the Skull Empire was voting to remove the protections? Yeah, so they can literally, like, legally have war. Like, it's a legal war in there. If you just remove protections, you can just obliterate your enemies. No harm, no foul. No blood on hands. Yeah, okay. Ugh. Kate says the Popov brothers are baby Oni now. They are. Yeah. Now this is a really interesting thing with the Popov twins. Their manager essentially found a loophole to escape the dungeon. Because this is like this extra life sort of thing, but you're born again. Like you die and then you get another life where you're born. But of course, you can't be a baby in the dungeon. So they're basically going to be raised into like a childcare pen for years. But then do they have to go back into the crawl for the second round? What? Yeah, academic?
So this is what I was talking about before. Like, what on earth is up with Lucia Marr, right? Like, we've determined that there are kids like in here. We find that out here, like that's explicitly stated, and it's been called out multiple times throughout the book. Like
Zeb
the child
knows.
counselor, yeah, Zeb knows, and it's being handled, whatever that means. So, like, what on earth's going on?
KB Dubs, there are lots of people in her head. Yeah, multiple, and a lot of them are children. You've got the psycho who's running things, and now we've found out that because like Florin was like gonna take care of Lucia Ma. She killed my girlfriend. I'm going straight for her. She's my kill. No one stopped me. 4 seconds later, he's holding her. He's hugging her. She's openly weeping and sobbing. And he's like, no one touch her. And we don't know much, but all we do know is that there's multiple children living in her head. And that Gustavo.
Yeah,
Gustavo's controlling her. No, Cece was the good dog. Remember how she goes, you killed the wrong one?
It was the two dogs, Gustavo and Cece.
And so with Cece gone, it's Gustavo who is controlling Lucia, but it's through distance, right? So if Lucia is within a certain range.
I wonder if he might be, like Gustavo might be kind of like, almost like a remote control for like this Alejandro guy, her caretaker.
Or we know how chaotic these pet biscuits are. Maybe it literally combined the Rottweiler with Alejandro to be the one entity. And now Alexandro, Alexandro, who's supposed to be the minor aid, to help the kids through this, is now like life or death. And KB Dubs, you had a good theory that we talked about pre-show. Do you want to bring that one up that you have? Was it you who had that one about reaching particular levels like Mordecai?
Yeah, I was wondering, they mentioned some sort of, like they were supposed to care for the children outside the crawl. What if they're on some sort of contract like Mordecai? Mordecai had to get a crawler to level 4 this crawl to fulfill his contract. So maybe there's somebody who's got to get a crawler to level 10 or 12 this crawl and is therefore basically taking over Lucia, min-maxing or doing all this stuff to try to get her or the dog or the combo of them.
Well, that min-maxing's working because she was a furious player, like crawler in the first few of these. And it sounds like it's just because she's becoming more and more unstable. So like the voices, like I think there's too many people that can take the wheel at this stage. And the fact that Florin like wants to protect Lucia now, this is a really interesting dynamic that we had, because before she was brutal. She would collect teeth of her victims or tongues or something like that, wasn't it? Like she was a psychopath. Avery's wondering, wait, why is Lucia allowed in there at all? Technically, she's too young. The AI, and it mentioned this, I think, last book or the first half of this book, the AI measures not just age. It's not like what we have with law, where it's like when you turn 18, you can vote. The AI or the crawl will measure intelligence. It will measure sort of like how mentally equipped you are for a crawl. Now, the fact that there's multiple children in there makes me really concerned. Like they detected maybe 8 and combined them all, and like the stats were like, oh yeah, they're 48. And it's like, no. There's a lot of younger children there. We just don't know. And the fact that this is still something with this book 5 and we're still finding out more and more. KB Dub says Mordecai says there's a minimum age, but it's different each crawl depending on complicated formulae. But it sounds like they're going to try and, God, one other person for Carl to rescue. He definitely has a rescue complex, so that'll be an interesting one. And Florin too, by the sounds of it. There was a question asked earlier, I think it was Vaden, said, I wish we would learn more about Agatha. This is another character that flits in and out that we really know very little about. It was right at the end of the level. So everyone's like, the finale's happened, they've beaten the day. A second little internal war has erupted over these treasure maps from the country boss. People looting. Someone got this crystal, this newer crawler that we don't really know anything about. He managed to get the memory crystal. everything's happening. And then there's goddamn Agatha with her cart, probably cackling. And you're just like, what is she doing there? I have literally no time to spend on thinking about this at all. But what? Yep, they are in their glass place on the 7th floor, and they see Agatha in her own bubble. Yeah, the beginning of the 7th floor. Jimmy says, I heard it was Agatha all along. For KP Dub's feature. She was a Volte plant, and Volte acquired Borant. So what is even the point of Agatha now? Any theories?
I don't know if she was a Valte plant. I do know she had, was it Valte equipment? She had like the guns and whatnot. But we don't know if she's actually from the Valte organization. So like maybe she's got smuggled Valte guns. Yeah.
Yeah, we put 2 and 2 together because she really had like high-tech spyware from Valte. So it was like, oh, she's working for the Valte then. Terry says, we need to read book 6 soon. Everyone's like, yeah, maybe that needs to be January's book. Yeah, we got to power through. Maybe we can get Jeff Hayes back to share a little bit more. Okay, this series, I mean, god damn it, Maude's Book Club. Book 7's coming out in October. And again, if you support Matt Dinnerman on his Patreon, I think you've got the first 75 chapters already that you can read, which I still have not done. I've got to do that one day. I like to listen to the books. Makes it a bit harder.
It's so hard. It's so hard to read compared to listening.
I know.
New achievement.
KP Dub says, I've said it like 200 times. Matt Dinnerman does not throw away any lines. Agatha will become huge at some point. Yeah, it's like just trickling it in until wham. If you've ever seen my very first season of SourceFed D&D, you know I do the same thing. So I respect it. I respect it. You throw a name at me, this wizard killed your mum and your dad, and that's why you're so angry? Sweet, sweet. I'll hold on to that. Like, yeah, I get it. Matt Dinnerman's going to be at New York Comic Con. I should really see if he's doing a panel and who can moderate it. Should we ask Matt what's going on with Agatha? What he can tell us about her? Surely we can get something. We should ask Matt. KP Dub says, how many times did Carl say, I hope we don't need to fight a group of Mongos?
How many times they came close to it, though?
Yeah.
I would have gotten torn to shreds given how the end of the Butcher's Masquerade went with all the hunters.
Well, Vra got absolutely delimbed by them all. Put up a fight. What other questions? Oh, there was one thing that happened. I'm a bit confused about the details because I was hiking and my mind was drifting. But when they're in the Vanquisher Club to try and find the changelings for all that other side quest shit that was going down, I guess I tuned out a little bit. This is the second time Carl passed out. He woke up in an office. There was a Oren, the liaison. And Oren was basically saying, this is the last season I'm going to be in with the new integration of Valte. I'm not going to be needed, which I don't agree with, but here we are. And then Carl said something like, hi, Irish Warthog. He says, hi, Nerd Muffins. Carl asks something like, oh, have I seen, I think, but you're the first liaison I've seen so far, right? And Oren doesn't answer. It made me wonder if there's previously been a liaison in here that we don't know about. Could that be Agatha? The secret toilet staircase, says K. Frito. K. Dub says, yep, that is what Oren said. What's a liaison and why are they in there and what does this mean and who could be a liaison? Or did everyone miss this? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Aaron, you had your hand up.
I just wanted to make a comment. Matt did a few times in this thing where it's like he'll start a chapter in the middle of something going on and then we'll immediately backtrack to explain how they got to this point instead of just getting to that point.
Yeah, what does he backtrack about? Oh, this didn't happen
Well, he was
in
like
there?
when he was like in the club holding the door while he's talking to the changeling, and like the crocodilian guy, bouncer guy, is like saying, "Sir, please get out of here."
Yeah, don't take a shit in the hallway. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. But that's like, and then it immediately backtracks like him and Donut sneaking into the place, and Donut, of course, saying like, "We can't sneak in. They all know what we look like. We cannot be inconspicuous."
Yeah. So what is the liaison? What is that all about? KP Dubs, what you got?
Well, I don't know for sure, but the liaison does mention that they're selected for their jobs specifically because they oppose their own governments. So I don't know. Is he yet another outside source that might be on Carl's side? We've got so many that are hinting. We had people at the Crawler Con that seemed to be giving him hints. We got Odette.
Oh,
we got
the one with
all this
the
stuff.
Arts.
The thing, yeah, Donuts, like chapter 427 of the posse.
Yeah.
Has that little
who are
serpent
funding
on their head.
the
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Jennifer.
So, I don't know, but something's going on, and yeah.
They put the crawl above all, says Darren, even their own governments. Does Prepotente have a liaison that is feeding him info? Is that who do you think another secret liaison could be? We're running out of people. They die. Oh, Faraz dead, by the way. No one mentioned it, so it really didn't make an impact, did it? It was a bit throwaway, wasn't it? Just saying.
To be fair, though, there are so many people in like the main group that Carl surrounds himself with, so it's like, and then they like go away, and then they don't come back until it's like really important. And it's like, who are you? I'm just hearing a name.
Yeah, and so someone has to die. Like Faraz has been in there since level 4. When they were split
You mean
up.
the last level?
No, they're on 6. The last 2.
No. They met him in the Dromedarian settlement, so it was after the Iron Tangle.
Oh, hold on. What's the Iron
Yeah.
Tangle?
Those the feral gods, and
Yeah, they met him in the Feral Gods with Louis. Yeah.
What's the Iron Tangle?
That was all the trains. That was level 4.
It's one of the ones that I love, but everyone said they hated.
Yeah. I
right,
definitely was.
levels were just like regular actual dungeons, and then 3rd floor was the big giant town with the Doomsday bomb at the end. And then 4 was the Iron Tangle, and then Feral Gods. Yeah.
Together. Got it.
Because book 1 was like 2 floors in 1.
Okay, well that was another question that I had. Oh, okay. So the epilogue. Holy crap. We've got 13 minutes. The epilogue. Prepotente. Oh my god. Prepotente has been collecting information and tools to disrupt the entire maze level, aka the Great Race of the 7th floor. He hammers into a trick spot in a wall, causing it all to break apart, pulling everyone into a portal to skip straight to level 8. Cascadia's Tears. This tool is called. We don't really know how he got it. He just basically indicates to Carl that he pays attention. That there was withheld information when he was on Cascadia's show, and then whatever they spoke about after, he pieced it together. Yeah, right. But we don't know. But completely unravels the 7th floor. Wasn't there mention in the first half of the book that they were rushing through prep of the 7th floor because they were more excited about the 8th floor anyway?
Yes and no. They weren't. No, it's not that they were rushing through the 7th floor. They were trying to get the 7th floor together, and they weren't able to. But they did also mention in the first half of the book that Cascadia was working on something. Like, it was a throwaway line to Cascadia, and we had no clue who Cascadia was. But they said it was her life's work or whatever. And
yeah, well, Gordon said that they didn't think that 7 would be ready in time. They moved floors around, says Darren. They replaced the 7th floor, says K. Frito. David Up says the 7th was going to be the 8th, but they got it done just in time. Just to have Pony kill it. Toast Poster says, is the Great Race a nod to the Adventure Zone and the McElroy brothers? I don't know. Apparently it was based on a tale. Can't think of the word for it? Not a nursery rhyme, but like not an urban legend.
Like a little boy that gets lost. Yeah.
Thank you, KP Dubs. A fable. Hey, by the way, join our fable. KP Dubs is there quite a lot as well. It's chapter breakdowns of the books that we're covering, so that when we have these "oh my god" moments at the end of a chapter, we can jump straight on fable and talk about it, or we can guess what's going to happen for the rest of the book. It's a lot of fun. We're about to get 900 members, so swing on by. There's a link in the chat for you. It's a free app. It's really cool. They hit 1 million users on the app recently, which is really cool for them. So we not only have Maude's book club, but we have Maude's bonus book club. So every book that we're covering, you can join and go on Fable for it. Fable will break me down. Is that typo? Is that typo? Agreed, the breakdown sounded overtly complicated. I'm glad we didn't have to suffer through the 7th floor. Another maze map would not have been fun, says Nick. That sounded horrible. Basically, the fable is about a boy who goes through a maze, and every single decision of a turn that he takes, he can't undo. So you have to commit to the direction that you choose. Some passageways would have required riddles or math equations. God, I got bogged down thinking about that. Someone's like, no calculator, what is 482,000 divided by 62? I'd be like, well, I survived all the minotaurs, I got through the brambles, I beat a country boss, and I cannot do this math. As if I wouldn't be on.
God shoot out babies that just, at a rapid pace.
I was getting burnt by their loins. Yeah, but this math equation defeated me. No, I would be straight on those comms to Prepotente being like, hey, bruh, I know you know who's got the highest intelligence score. But then I realized that they had like a 5-minute countdown. So no one's going to take time to try and help you when they've got a time limit trying to get their own thing. It doesn't matter though. It's all irrelevant because Prepotente unraveled the entire freaking thing. And that happens, so an entire level takes place in the epilogue of this book. So level 7 and 6 are all in this book. They go to level 8. I mean, this is a clever way of skipping through to level 9, which we all want more than ever, right? Like, we don't need a 7 when we want a 9. 987. Prepotente disbands from the group. He only did it to try and get them through that last part. Why did Prepotente want to band? Oh, because he needed Donut. Because everyone was giving Donut the equipment and he needed that equipment, so he had to team up. So they had to place them together. Interesting. He did it because of the gift boxes. The sponsors did not want to see floor 7. Why? Why
did this giant death trap?
Because it sounded really unentertaining because Katia thinks she's really brilliant. Oh, that's what Prepotente said. Katia thinks she's incredibly smart and she's not. I don't like her. Politics? The sponsors don't like maths? Who did Katia anger? Great questions. Prepotente disbands from the group and asks about the book that, and again, it doesn't matter. The payoff wasn't there. He chooses a very, what does he need? 30 Hunter's Hands to get the book of lore about the Bahamas. And it's indicative of level 8. And he's like, well, if it costs 30 hands, it must be very helpful and I should probably get it. So he buys it. And as there's a debate, again, I don't even know why Donut is debating this. You're on level 8 of a dungeon and it's a map. Carl's logic is, I think we should choose this part of America because I know it. Smart. Donut, I've always wanted to go to Spain or Ibiza. You're like, is it worth your life though? Is that how bad you want to go? What are you doing, Donut? What are you doing?
In Donut's defense, when's the next time you're going to actually get a chance to go to Ibiza? All right, you're in a dungeon.
I don't think it's the same Ibiza.
Oh, no, it's going to be the dungeons version of the thing.
And honestly, I am the age that I am, EDM DJs for 24 hours sounds like a personal hell. No, thank you. No shame to anyone who likes the doof doof. That is not my jam.
How are you such an old lady? I'm older than you, but you sounded like a school marm there.
I will wear it like a blanket. It feels comfortable.
My introverted heart would not stand the nightclub scene put away, I would lose my mind.
I swear I've made it apparent that I like sleep to everyone.
I'm introverted and I love club music, so you can't use that as an excuse.
True.
Kate,
Listen to that in the privacy of your own home. I don't need to be in the club to do it.
Kate, I wasn't expecting that from you. I've known you for 7 years? You like club music? Where'd that come from? When? How? Who?
Always. I love dance music and EDM.
EDM is therapeutic. It's so good.
I love it.
It's so good. I sleep to it.
It's probably what the river in Carl's mind is constantly rolling, you know?
I like just dancing. You
What's a
like
club
go into
music
a trance.
though? Like who is that? What's a
Do
club?
you want examples? I've got plenty.
Yeah, just say an artist.
Armin van Buuren, Alice in Wonderland's from Australia.
She is.
She lives in LA. She's fantastic.
I used to live with DJs, and it was very
Alice
loud.
in Wonderland is amazing. She's a DJ, producer, singer, drummer. Odessa is really good.
I like Odessa.
The Glitch Mob.
I've never heard of them.
Daft Punk.
I know
Everybody
Daft
loves
Punk.
Daft Punk.
Yeah. I will only listen to them one more time though.
Tiesto. I could go on for days. Laid Back Luke.
I've interviewed Tiesto.
Have you really?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
David Guetta. I've interviewed him a few times.
I can't stand David Guetta.
Well, so in 2011, we were interviewing him, and it was like a big thing for our Hot 30 countdown because he'd just done the song with Mala, and like the one that put him on the map a lot. And we called him like, "Are you so excited to come on the Hot 30 countdown?" And he, in his French accent, goes, "I can't wait to be there. I'm coming for you, Maude." And we used the "I'm coming for you" mode. We used that in our radio promotions. So it was like the Hot 30 countdown with Maddie and "I'm coming for you" mode. That's David Guetta.
Away from Samantha, it's like, "I will kill your mother."
Yeah, it was. David Guetta should voice Samantha.
Fatboy Slim, who is responsible for arguably the coolest music video in history.
With Walkin'.
Yeah, that's Fatboy Slim.
Yeah, okay, I know him. 4 more minutes to talk about the actual book. All right, so they're on the map. Carl is like, "We have to do the Bahamas. We've got the book on the Bahamas. The smartest thing to do is the Bahamas." And we're like, "Cool, he's going to do the Bahamas." And then she goes to, now this is a really interesting point because I thought Caribbean, and I know everyone else is going to say Caribbean, but I say Caribbean, just deal with it quicker than later. KP Dubs, you say that's not the case. You say it's the Florida Panhandle.
She turns the globe. She turns the globe to the Caribbean era, and then Carl says the Florida Panhandle lit up, and she touched it with her paw. They're in Florida,
which is the Queensland of America. All right, cool. KP Dubs says, "Do not pick the wrong place." Blah blah blah. Katia, you're exactly right. We get a point of view from Katia for the first time ever, and oh boy, it's a good one. We know that earlier, during the finale, epic showdown, blah, 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 Katia walks off. A player crawler has been killed, and a bounty was awarded. So we know it's someone in the top 10. Katia walks back and kind of looks at Carl and just says it's done. And you're like, holy shit, Katia has been on a mission to kill Eva for like 3 books. She basically left Carl and Donut's group so she could focus on her goal of killing Eva. We now have learned Gustavo Gaines. Gustavo, you are the wrong dog. Lovely for you to join us. First time chatter says hi. There is a dog in this book who is possessing a character, and its name is Gustavo. So that's quite interesting that your name is also Gustavo. I'm nervous. Anyway, Katia, the point of view, there is darkness in this girl. Holy shit. We thought that she was so sweet and innocent. She has been in a way. We saw glimpses sort of through Carl's point of view that she was more put together. She was more confident. She wasn't second guessing anything. Turns out she's been blitzing this whole time. There were 2 secrets apparently that she was keeping 2 major secrets. One of them is her addiction to these blitz sticks. Eva planted them on a corpse for Katia to loot. Now, I don't know if Eva knows that she has an addictive personality or if she previously had an addiction, but Katia did not listen to Mordecai. She lit one up and got very addicted. So a blitz stick is essentially when you light up, you are able to sort of like dictate a fantasy, so a non-reality to take place and unfold, and you live in that non-reality to escape life for a little bit. And what she wants to do, she wants to fantasize about killing Eva over and over again, different ways. I want to pretend that I cut off her hands, which you should have done, Katia. I want to just basically kill her over it. I wanted to beg for her life. You know, all of these things that she's just like seething. And you're like, Katia, that's a little evil. Now, we also go back through...
Maude, may I interject?
What?
She is fantasizing a way to kill her without getting the crown. She's distraught that she just didn't stab her. So she's not being evil. She's like regretting.
She's trying to undo. Got it.
Yeah, so
got it.
Blitz sticks let you fantasize things in a way you wish they'd happened. That's what she's doing.
Because she did a little oopsie. You know, we're talking about having your villain moment, your monologue moments, where you keep them alive so you can monologue to them. Eva does sort of say that. She wants Eva to apologize or beg for her life or to show fear. Eva's got 4 arms. Katia takes the top 2 of them. Also takes one of her sabers that are Eva's sort of best weapon and slowly it pierces into her chest, which does give Eva the time. Hi, Steph. It gives time for Eva to take the tiara of the Sepsis Hall, which who's got a strong reminder of what that entails? Because what we do know is that on level 9, she basically has to clear out the entire Skull Empire, or is it the
Naga line of succession?
The Blood Sultanate.
Yeah.
The Blood
She
Sultanate.
She is a part of that family, and she has to eradicate all of them in order to progress to the next floor. And even if she loses the crown, you are still bound to that quest. And whoever else gets that crown is also bound to the quest, which means Ona is now a target of Katia along with everybody else in that.
So they're basically both royal family members of the Blood Sultanate, and they have to wipe them out, but you have to be the only member left, thank you, Gudrun, of the Blood Sultanate to leave that floor. And so that's going to be their entire mission. The problem is only Katia or Donut can stay alive. They both can't.
One must go.
And so she's realizing that she fucked up. And so, yeah, she's using these blitz sticks to undo that because she'd been picturing this moment for so long, and that kind of took over for her in a little bit, not knowing that Eva could be a sneaky, sneaky little viper in her last moments. What is her other secret? Because there was also a flashback to her previous husband, partner, who was saying that she would be a bad mother. What was going on in that moment? Who's got me filling in that blank?
She also had like a previous flashback to like her childhood where her mother was just like arrest her out of it, and then she had to like take her baby sister or something like that. It kind of like went all over the place in the audiobook, like just flashed from one moment. Just basically her regret.
But she's got a lot of childhood trauma coming forth as well now. So she's blitzing to either numb, but she's now, maybe Katia was pregnant? What? No, Mongo's going to be a daddy.
No, it was an adoption situation, apparently. Yeah, and the dude was a tool bag, doesn't do enough justice, but it sounds like Katia is really reeling from that and has a lot of confidence issues from that interaction with her previous.
Being told she wouldn't be a good
husband?
mother. I thought it was her husband. I thought it was a partner, and it was someone who was like, why would anyone want you to be a mother? Like, you are not
mess things up more. Oh my gosh, it made me want to punch him. Then we'd only seen him for like 3 lines total.
Yeah, but this is again another person in Katia's life who has just treated her terribly, using her, doesn't like the fact that she's like around, is very much like an Eva 2.0 in a way, or the original Eva, I suppose. She hurts someone, she keeps telling herself that she always hurts those around her, says Darren. So this is almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy that she's now got the tiara as well. So her two secrets are that she's got the tiara, which I don't think she's going to be telling Donut or Carl, but Katia's trajectory and where she's going, there's no way she's not going to choose herself over Donut.
Does Bautista know that she has the crown? Because when she kills
Bautista knows she's
Eva,
addicted to the blitz sticks.
Yeah, but he doesn't know about the crown.
He walked away when she was about to do the final moment with Eva.
Right. And Lena's brother or your brother's friend was there, yeah.
And he had a secret. Is he the vampire as well?
No, I don't think so.
So what was that remark where Katia says, I nearly touched him? Thank goodness I didn't.
No, touched her, the sister.
Why can't
No, he was starting, because remember with Miriam, how she said, when you turn into a vampire, if you don't get it fixed by the end of the floor, it's permanent. And she got that title of like the Princess of Hell or whatever. So
Lena can't touch people. So she's like,
Lena can't, that's her race, but
she's like a demonic race. She curses you.
One of the, either June or I think Zhang is the friend. One of them got turned into a vampire on this floor because there was all the vampirism going around. But because it was cured by the end of the floor, it's not permanent.
He doesn't stay a vampire.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, that was a little, because there was so much information happening and I was like already reeling from the whole tiara exchange. So I'm like, what? Killing Miriam, none of them stayed vampires. Yeah, okay. Lena can't touch people, and she almost reached out to touch her and was like, I can't even do that. Inside Katia's head's a scary place. I feel for her. How was it having a different point of view, and why was it important to be Katia's, I suppose?
Even the narration tone that Jeff Hayes used was completely different.
I thought it was a
like
different
very
narrator
somber.
again.
Like a lot softer and more somber.
I thought it was the same guy who narrated Legends and Lattes, I'll be honest. They sound very similar. Well, Jeff Hayes can impersonate everyone. He could probably impersonate me. He does an all right Australian accent as well. So hold on, I do have my Katia notes. I want to show that I've got them all here. She avenges herself by killing Eva. We see that she's more confident, in charge. She discovers she's in a relationship with Bautista. The epilogue shows a lot more than that. She's addicted to blitz sticks, using fantasy projections to re-kill Eva over and over again, the correct way. She was spoken down to by her previous partner, and I had question mark for that, but I think I'm right, saying she's a bad mother. She'd be a bad mother, sorry. I was like, what happened here? Eva put the crown of Sepsis whore in final moments before death. Katia versus Donut showdown imminent on level 9, book 7. I have. What else sucks about this, and we were talking about it earlier, do you remember that offhanded comment where Louis trying to like get some cool ideas and like plays, and Katia's like, just try to be supportive, and Carl's like, yeah, great idea. The whole thing was that Katia now has the ability to absorb armor. It just has to touch her and it will like lock into place if it's not taken already, right? So it doesn't have to be placed upon her head. It just has to merely kind of be given or touch her, and then her body, if it's not taken, will absorb it. She had a beanie on her head. This beanie did a blast or something, right? And Carl was in a position where he needed to push people off her. So she grabs the beanie, places it on her head and says, use the spell that's imbued in it. Now, there was also, this is another thing where I was like, that was a gift box, a subscription that was like a gift box by her sponsors, because I think that they knew that Eva had the tiara, and so they wanted to protect her by putting something on her head. There was also a throwaway line about how if you have a sponsored gift box and it's armor or an item, it cannot be used by another crawler, because that would instigate that if anyone opened a sponsor box, you could kill them and take the prize and use it for themselves. So it was only for that character that the box or the prize was designed for. Was there a line in there saying unless it's gifted or given freely to someone? academic?
That was a different thing. I think that was either for the prize boxes, not a sponsor gift box, because all of the other sponsor gift boxes, like
Were
we
for
we
donut.
could give, yeah, yeah. So you could potentially give these to other crawlers.
Keep it up.
I know
There was one mention of like a spell or potion that can unlock an item that's specifically for one crawler or one race, and that's what they're trying to find for some of these things. I also think their workaround for the 9th floor is they got changelings who can become that race and use those items.
Oh, interesting. Okay, changelings are an asset if they're on your side. Aaron.
I thought I was being confused with like the way the hunters' weapons and stuff like that were, where it's like they were specific to them, and if anybody kills them, they just go away. They get destroyed because you can't use them.
Yeah. So specifically some of the people that sponsored the hunters, they paid extra to put those extra protections on the weapons and goodies that they got. Yeah.
But he got the nipple ring and just pierced himself to get a nipple ring, though.
That wasn't one from the sponsor.
Okay.
That was he came onto the floor with that, yeah.
So I just didn't know why Katia was able to give the beanie over when there was a line of dialogue saying you can't give over armor that's gifted specifically for a crawler. Whatever. She gives up headspace. She gives up the item placed upon her head, freeing up her head. If she hadn't done that, if she didn't give Carl the beanie, would he have survived in that moment? Or was it necessary? I think he'd be fine. I think it was precautionary. I don't even know if he used it. He needed it to get to the god, says Darren. Okay, fine. He needed it.
Plus, he already used the shield spell, which would have done like the same thing.
Yeah. I think the outcome of whether or not he needed it is immaterial, because like it was the right call to make in the moment.
She freely gave it. Yeah. She freely gave it, which is why she now has the tiara. We are on level 8, which is the book's already out, and holy shit, he's writing level 9, which is coming out in October. Oh my god, that's exciting. Avery says, well, either way, the AI probably would have overridden the rule for the drama. Exactly. Keep it up is the moment when Donut finds out Mongo lost the talent show.
Luna was on like the dog lady's shoulder being all nice for once, and then finds out that lady's little meatball pet wins, and Donut jumps to Carl and hisses and spits at her. It was hilarious. It was like
she's a brat sometimes, though. she can be outrage. Yeah, all right. So that's what the tiara is. Susie goes, hey, what's the next book for next month? Next month is October. We're getting all spooky. We are going to be reading a book by Joe Hill called Nosferatu. Now, this is, oh my God, I looked over and Aaron's holding it up. I was going to say, this is a book that Aaron has been recommending for about 2-3 years. 2-3 years, and The Last Unicorn for about 6-7 years, because it was over on Alpha that you were recommending that one. I love it that there's people from Alpha Book Club still chatting books with me, like since 2016, 17, or even 18. That's so cool. There's a handful in here. Terry, you were one. Vaden, you were one.
No,
Lisa,
I'm not.
You weren't? Lisa.
Nah.
Sorry, you feel like you've been around for ages, Vaden. Lisa, you were one. Jay Buntrock, were you one? Alpha Days? Nah. Kate was. And then Kate got a voice, and everything changed. She used to write, and I'd be like, oh, Miss Necromancer, Miss Necromancer. She likes EDM music. KP Dub says, and the bonus book is a court of something something? That's right. I don't like horror books. Apparently Nosferatu is already really freaking creepy and scary. So I thought the next scariest thing to a lot of people in the book club is A Court of Mist and Fury. It's book 2 of the Akatar series. We read the first book in January, and we didn't go back the whole time. I gave you guys 9 months off. So we're heading back, book 2 for that one. Toaster Poster says, I wanted to be a part of Alpha Book Club, but you had to pay. That's how they get you. Toaster Poster, I'm making people pay too. As business. Shit ain't free. Don't know how else to say it. Game Wizard says Nosferatu is by Joe Hill. Susie says, take care. See y'all next time. Susie, do you think you're going to read Nosferatu? Can you give me the blurb on the back of the book? Aaron? You got it right there.
I mean, give it the actual synopsis or just like some of the highlights?
Whatever. You've got the book. I'll let it be your
Okay.
call.
The synopsis on the back says, Victoria Vic McQueen has an uncanny knack for finding things. When she rides her bicycle over the rickety bridge in the woods near her
Already
house,
hate it.
she always emerges in the places she needs to be. Vic doesn't tell anyone about her unusual ability. Charles Talent Manx has a gift of his own. He likes to take children for rides in his 1938 Rolls-Royce Wraith with the vanity plate Nos Foretu. In the Wraith, he and his innocent guests can slip out of the everyday world to an astonishing playground of amusements he calls Christmas Land. Mile by mile, the journey across the highway of Charlie's twisted imagination transforms his precious passengers, leaving them as terrifying and unstoppable as their benefactor. And then comes the day when Vic goes looking for trouble and finds her way inevitably to Charlie. Now the only kid ever to escape Charlie's twisted imagination is all grown up and desperate to forget. But Charlie Manx hasn't stopped thinking about Vic McQueen. On the road again, he won't slow down until he's taken his revenge.
Oh my god, we're covering that for 4 hours? Can't we talk about Feyre being like average at best and landing the hottest guy in the lands? Like,
It's gonna be two back-to-back streams of Maude almost talking about a book.
Yeah, you see it.
Not something we haven't done before.
Doesn't have to talk about it.
KB Dubs, you're not going to do it? You're not going to read it? Nah.
I'll read
Come
it.
on, outside the box.
I'll read it.
This it's giving a very Bradbury feel. Do you remember how we did the carnival creepy nightmare thing like a couple of years ago for Nerdist Book Club?
Something wicked this way comes.
That's it. It's giving something wicked this way comes kind of thing. I'm
Will say
okay
there-
for thriller. I don't like scary shit. I don't
They
want
did
it.
make a TV series out of this book. Zachary Quinto plays the villain.
He's always playing a villain, isn't he?
Very
I
good
reckon
at it.
there's a bit of evil in real life going on. I heard there was like a video where he was yelling at a waiter. That's all I need to know about a person. Ben says, I'm not into horror, but I'll be reading it as usual. Academic says, you can't catch me with toxic masculinity manipulation attacks after being called a coward by Miss Necromancer. Are you going to read it, Academic?
No, but it probably has less to do with the book and has more to do with I'm just really busy October and November.
You said it was quite busy. I'm going to be busy trying to not read it. I have to. I committed to this. November's going to be really, really great. It's going to be filled with awesome, wonderful books. That is not Nosferatu and A2, Nosferatu. And that's going to be Somewhere Beyond the Sea, which is the House of the Cerulean Sea sequel. Very excited about that one. We could also do Nona the Ninth. It's got necromancers. What the fuck happened in the first two books, though? I got no idea. I literally could not tell you a single thing except that a character was called Nona and Harrow. Harlow. What's Harrod? What's her name?
Harrow.
Ha.
That's right, Harrow.
No, Gideon. Oh, it is Harrow. There is a Harrow in there. Oh, thank God.
It was quite harrowing. Yes, I understand.
And then the bonus book in November is going to be The Last Unicorn. Again, I've heard about this title. I got no idea what it's about. But I've only just found out the blurb of Nosferatu. It is October. You said it was perfect because it was like horror adjacent. That doesn't sound horror adjacent. That sounds like it's full blown creepy.
No, it is horror adjacent. You're lucky I didn't choose the horror book mod.
Dude, you've told me about books that just sound like they're just disturbing for the sake of disturbing.
If it at least helps you, Maude, Patrick Rothfuss highly recommends. He's even on the front blurb of the book.
That does help. Maybe we could get Patrick back again to talk about it. Oh my gosh, we need to get. I need to do a backlog catalog of like authors that we've had on that I want to get on the show again. I want to reach out to NK. I want to reach out to Rebecca
He's
Roanhorse.
with us for the Murderbot stuff too. So it's like
Sure did.
Sure, if you
Loves a good book
you're gonna
rec.
talk about this.
Okay, all right. I could say it's been a year and a half, nearly 2 years. Let's go again. What's another author? What's Joe Hill's story?
He is Stephen King's son.
He sounds like he could be busy.
He also created Lock and Key, the graphic novel series, which the show was nothing like the graphic novel.
Thank you. I hated it since episode 1. I did not like it. I absolutely love Lock and Key.
I've heard great things about it, and the show just went way off.
And he's done the movie The Horns with Daniel Radcliffe. That was based off of his book.
Okay, all right, that's cool. Okay, that's fun. KPW said, Murderbot, I'm due for a reread. Oh, Nick says, Lock and Key is such a great graphic novel. I got the prequel, and I want to read that next month. We're going to talk about how we're going for our yearly goals in the little after chat. We have a pre-chat, so the after chat's more of like a little goodbye, but I just see some faces in there that I didn't see before the show, so I want to give them time too. Is that Lock and Key? Oh, looks good. Come on, guys, read the horror with me. If I have to go through it, we can do it together.
I already said I'm extremely busy in October, but I'm gonna try to read it with you, Maude. And I hate horror.
It's a long book, though.
I can't stand it.
I don't like it at all. All right, we'll do
I already
it
have the
next year.
audiobook from Libby.
Oh, you got it on Libby. Smart.
I'm going to the library this weekend, or I'm going to try to and get it.
Go libraries. We're all for libraries.
I'm not paying for a book that I'll probably read one time.
One day I'll get us to read Head Full of Ghosts.
I learned that lesson with The Way of Kings. It's just going to sit on my bookshelf and collect dust forever.
Oh no, that sounds terrible. Gift it to someone who actually enjoys reading. Kate, what were you saying? What book would I?
Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay, because someone mentioned The Exorcist, and I was like, no, we need to read A Head Full of Ghosts.
What happens in that one?
It's like a reality TV show about a exorcism, and then someone writing a blog post about the show 20 years after it was aired. And it's like, is it possession? Is it mental illness? Is it, is it?
That sounds like thriller. That sounds okay. That's probably the dumbest thing I said. I told you, Kate. I told you I would say something dumb. There it is. I said that book didn't sound so bad. That's idiocy. Ooh, I felt it. Ignore me. KPW says, are we going to do the next Stormlight book? Like March, April? You betcha. The last 2 years we've been slowly covering the Red Rising books. We got up to where December will be book 6 with Lightbringer, waiting for Red God, which might come out the year later or the year after that. We don't know. I would like to continue the Stormlight saga.
For over 2 months.
How big's the next book? Is it the same as Way of Kings?
They're all 1,000 pages, I think.
The new Way of Kings book is coming up very soon as well. Yeah,
December.
We'll do it. Let's do some more Stormlight. As always, we'll likely do 7 polls, and only members get to vote in them. So members have say. Poor academic, he's trying to go home. Alrighty, let's call it there. Thank you everyone for the Butcher's Masquerade. Great chats. Love talking about the series. Yes, we will continue it. We'll probably chat about what January, February, March looks like since we've got the rest of the year mapped out. If you want to see the schedule, if you want to see what books we've got, I believe it's in, I don't know, Seb did a really cool graphic for it where a GIF where it changes from the main book to the bonus book all year. Nick says we could do the next Way of Kings as 2 months bonus books. So we still have 2 months, but it won't be 4 streams. That's a really good idea as well. Nick, you can stay. Full of good ideas, you are. Fiddled says, this book kind of sounds like a book version of SAO? S-A-O?
Sword Art Online, probably.
Oh. Fiddle says, if anyone knows SAO, let me know if I'm in the right neighborhood. Yep, there's nerds here. I've watched Sword Art Online. The first episode was great. It lost it after about 4 episodes in and they got a kid. I don't know. I was like, I stopped. I've been watching some more anime. God, my hero.
I mean, if you want to do like a dungeon crawler type of thing where it's like, hey, we're now in a video game kind of thing, light RPG type of book, Overlord.
Overlord. Can you link it in the book pick?
Yes.
Yeah, I like the sound of that. Who should we raid into I've got Damien Haas, who is the lead voice of the anime that was brought up earlier, Delicious Dungeon. What's he playing? Yeah, the new Zelda game. We're gonna go raid Damien. He's got a lot of people watching him, so it won't even really matter. But tell him that is it slash raid or raids? Great, I did it. She did it. Damien's a part of the Alienware Hive, which is how I know him. He's incredibly funny. He is in Smosh Games, and he's a really successful anime voice actor now. He's done video games as well. Some of them I've even played. He's fantastic. But he's the lead in Delicious Dungeon, which I was watching Where I was watching about 4 episodes last night. He has the new Zelda game. I told you a new Zelda game came out. Let's look at it, yeah? And that's how she ends the stream.